All right, let's start it up. We are back with more Deceive Inc. We're doing a patch notes video. I don't know exactly when the patch is going to be. This is the update preview, and usually those are pretty soon to the patch, so we're doing this now. Again, I don't know exactly when the patch is going to come out, but I wanted to do this in the off chance it does actually come out. Well, the day you see this, I don't know, but these do come out pretty soon. So while I don't know, I feel like I got to do this now just in case. This is the Deceiving Back to School update preview. So summer's basically over. We're going back to school. One thing I do want to shout out right at the start is they didn't really mention the event ending, the summer event ending. Oh, it did. Hang on. Never mind. I can't read. It's right there. The summer splash event's riding off into the sunset. So that will be ending soon, presuming when this update comes out. So, yeah, that's the first time they've announced an end to the thing, so maybe this won't come out for like another week, because normally they give you some time after they announce the event's ending for it to actually end. But we're doing the video now. There's a lot of focus on Suspicion, and there's a bunch of changes, so let's get through it. Don't want this to be too long, but the Suspicion has changes. They've done a lot of stuff, yeah, basically they want it to be a Suspicion bar and not a stamina bar. And yeah, based on feedback, I feel like they got this stuff out really quickly. I'm not gonna lie, like, credit where it's due. They released the Suspicion and then they got a lot of feedback on it, and now like we're getting changes based on that feedback. I feel like the turnaround time on this was quite quick, and I do want to give them credit for that. So first and foremost, Suspicion no longer advises if there's nobody around to find you suspicious. I think that's great. There's now a suspicious eye near the player portrait that tells you you're in someone's line of sight and will generate suspicion now. So there's no one around, you can be as sus as you want. Jumping, of course, now gives Suspicion a 20% of your bar, which is kind of a lot, but also don't jump. So obviously, you know, we'll see how that plays, but jumping inherently is suspicious anyway, because NPCs don't do it, so 20% seems like a good number. I do wonder how that's going to interact with, like, if I have just a little bit of bar left and I jump, how much of that cover bar is going to disappear. But of course, that's something we just have to test and see. But yeah, obviously, again, only if someone sees you. And then this sprint jumping no longer constantly drains the Suspicion thing. That was kind of frustrating. You had to like stop sprinting before you jump just in case. Like, yeah, I'm glad this got fixed. I'd call it a bug. Maybe it's not in the bug fix section, but hey, here it is. Now this is awesome. I love this. This isn't to do with Suspicion. It kind of is. What is my NPC doing is now gonna be a little emoji thing. So obviously your disguise is currently scared here. You can be scared, you can be aggroed, depending on what like disguise you have. And when you're in one of those skates, you no longer gain suspicion. So like if a fight breaks out and you're in like teams and your teammates fighting, you can run in there because your disguise is scared and all the NPCs are running anyway. Yeah, I think this is a really cool addition, just to have the feedback and then also to link it to Suspicion is pretty cool. So I think that's great. And also they adjusted the NPCs so that they're going to do the run walk the same way all the players are when we're trying to manage our high suspicion. And of course NPCs have an internal suspicion thing that makes them more or less likely to behave like a player, so it's linked to that. That's good. Yada yada. That seems to be all the Suspicion stuff. My thoughts is that all this looks really good. Excited to try it out. I'm kind of happy Suspicion's just not a binary are you running yes or no switch anymore. And it'll be interesting to see like pathing decisions. If you're like, okay, this path is slightly longer but there's less NPCs, maybe I can run more. That would be good. And then this is good for so many reasons. Just knowing what your cover is doing and linking it. Yeah. All right, vault terminal delay. So this is something like new. Advantage to players disabling a vault terminal. When you disable it, you get the XP and everything immediately, but nobody gets told until 15 seconds later. So Iris doesn't make the announcement until 15 seconds later, which is really cool because like if you know you did the last one, you can head to the vault like 15 and have like a little 15-second advantage. But it's also cool because like if the last two are done and they get done quote at the same time, neither of those players is going to know to go to the vault until both of them pop 15 seconds later, or the other one pops 15 seconds later, the one they did not do. So that's kind of cool. I think this is cool. I'm excited to try it out. No idea how it's going to affect stuff, but one thing that immediately comes to mind is if Fragrant Shore E is the last one, then you get that 15 seconds plus the 20 seconds to get to the vault. So you're kind of good there. I think that's a really good change just for that. I can't really see a downside to this other than it may just take longer if you happen to be at like Fragrant Shore C is the last one, and then you have to stand at the vault door for 15 seconds and then 20 seconds and you're just waiting and waiting. But like, I think that's fine. So yeah, again, they're looking for oh yeah, no, sorry, I thought this said we're looking for feedback, but it doesn't. It just says we hope it's a little more intuitive. So I'm kind of excited about it. And guard changes, big one here. Melee only behavior is gone. Like Headliner, they're not just gonna punch you in the face anymore. Now they're gonna have range behavior even at heat 0, but they're less accurate at low heat levels, so that's good. But they're more accurate at, you know, yeah, so it scales now, their accuracy, which is kind of funny, but hey, Doug's got some shooting lessons, I guess. But yeah, they also adjusted range, like I guess aggro range, and like the doors don't spread aggro through them as much, so guards won't quite come from as far, I think is what they're saying here. Again, there's some like technical terms I'm not the best at, but I think the idea is, hey, guards aren't going to come from like 3 rooms away to come like shoot at you now. So that's good. I do wonder how this interacts with our knocking. I'm assuming it's fine because let's say like limiting. So I think maybe if we still knock on the door or we shoot at the door, because obviously they already adjusted melees to be like less dangerous in the code last patch, I think. So be interesting to see, but I guess we'll test and find out. And they reduced both regular guard and elite guards base weapon damage. Because now they'll be shooting more early, so that's good. They didn't put the numbers here, but a little less damage is probably good. And well, we'll see how it goes. That's really it. That's all I got. Network performance up. I'm not gonna read this. Yeah, network stuff. Retinal scanner. So a couple improvements here. They no longer share the intel costs with everyone, just your team, which is nice-ish. Getting your hard work stolen is too punishing, but like, is it stolen? Like, I mean, that you do lose the 150 XP, which I know is a big deal to some people. You know who you are. Like if you put the 20 intel in and someone else came with the VIP disguise, you kind of lost the 150 XP for actually finishing the thing. But also, like, if I'm doing the scanner, my goal is to open the vault as quickly as possible. I don't necessarily care if I'm the one who literally opens it, or I just, you know, like, I've decided that's my plan. So I don't know. Personally, this isn't the feedback I would be giving that, hey, this is punishing, but like, I guess it's fine. It does maybe make it a little more difficult. But let's move on here before I get caught up in this, because I know there's something later I'm going to get caught up on. Just you wait. Retinal scanners no longer cause a danger event. Okay, so this is where I got to comment on like the patch notes. So when you do the scanner, an alarm goes off, which I'm assuming is a danger event, but I'm not sure if they say it no longer causes a danger event means the alarm doesn't go off or it just doesn't aggro the guards anymore, because those are two different things. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that means the alarm doesn't go off anymore, because obviously that was the annoying part. Not just like the guards being, you know, alerted, but also there's a big loud alarm going off that obviously players can be hearing, witnessing, seeing, hearing, yeah, yada yada. Like, I really hope the alarm's gone, but they didn't say the alarm's gone. They just say it's no longer going to alert guards due to a lack of danger event. So I guess I'll have to play the game and find out which one of those it is. Could be a little more clear here. But also, they're looking closely at this patch on how the scanners work outside of the event where there's less VIPs. So VIPs are all going home, meaning the twins are going home. There's going to be less VIPs. Scanners are going to be hard to use. I appreciate they shout out, hey, we're looking at it, but I think we more or less all know what's gonna happen, right? It's gonna be a lot harder to use. Like, period, it just is. We went from 2 or 3 VIPs to 1 or 2. It's just harder to use now, and like, we kind of know how hard it is to find a VIP already, I think, but at least they shout out, we're looking at it. All right, for all the controller players, aim assist got better, I guess. I read this, but it's a lot of like words I don't fully understand. Like, not gonna lie, even if I was a controller player, I'm not totally sure I would understand what they're trying to tell me here. But hopefully you guys are all happy that it got upgraded. But that's all I can really say about it. All right, new store items, because we're back to school. This Sasori is gonna be bought so fast. Not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like, I don't know, it's just, I almost want to call this like a jogging outfit with the sweatband and the wrist, whatever. I don't know. But like, I don't think it's really like a jogging outfit, but like I don't know if this is a leather jacket back here, but like, I'm gonna probably be rocking this one a little bit. And then we have Yumi here as well, in like a school uniform, I'm guessing. So that's another thing. They also shout out, intro poses and inks, and I'm not sure if there'll be more skins than these two. These might be legendary, they might be not legendary, don't know, they didn't really tell us. But along with these two skins, there may be more skins. They didn't tell us. There's also intro poses and inks. Really excited. They always do a really good job on the intro poses and inks, and these two skins at least look really good for now. Okay, another big thing, the Sound Eclipse Vault got updated. This looks great. I'm not gonna lie, the changes they've made here, I'm really happy with, so let's do it. Their goals here, let's look at their goals, because that's always important, and I like that they always were like, here's what our goal was, and then we can be like, did you achieve that or not? More distinct identity to purple rooms, so you know which purple room you're in. That's pretty nice. The central engineering part, more interesting to fight and hide in with more social interactions and cover, and reduce the labyrinthic feeling. So, in terms of goals, these seem like great goals. Like, the purple rooms between, 1 and 2, it's really hard to tell when you're in, and the only one you can tell you're in is 3 and 4 because it's a double. And then this, yeah, I can see it. Like, this may not have been high on my personal list, but like, I get it, and if they're gonna do it, I'm all here for it. And this was really high on my list. I think everyone, new players especially, gets lost in Sound Eclipse Vault, so this being here, this feels great. By the way, if you're counting the Sound Eclipse, this counts as +1. This is Sound Eclipse. Anyway, so let's look at these. So this is obviously a blue room. I think this is like the central room because we see 3 on the wall there. So I think this is the central, like, you go down the stairs the first time, and this is where the purple doors used to be. I'm assuming that's the purple door to 3 and 4 now. And this area looks a lot bigger with like a hallway on the outside, hallway on the inside type thing. Pretty cool. This is, again, a blue room. We can see stairs down to a purple room here. We see the bathroom there, and again, stuff there. We're not really going to get a great view of this until we really get into game. And this is clearly a purple room. We can see it's much bigger with stairs right down to the vault. I think that's really cool how they didn't even try to like make a big area down here. Like before there's a little area, but now it's like even smaller, and it's just like stairs to door. Like, I'm fine with that. Just stairs right down to the door. Let's not overcomplicate things and keep this upper area looking nice. And then you can always bounce pad out of the pit here, or like someone can cover the door from up here pretty nicely. So it gives like these people a bit of an advantage, but you have like 3 or 4 doors to go out here. Anyway, I think it's nice. I really like it in the images. We'll see how it looks in game. And yeah, all right, this Fragrant Shore B terminal upgrade. So B is the hotel, if no one knew that. So there's a major visual upgrade, which you can already see scrolling into my screen, and a new shortcut, which I'm excited about, even though I don't know anything about it. It already had 2 doors, now it's got a new shortcut, and it had some windows. I'm assuming, hopefully B is the hotel. I'm like double checking, because I'm like, did this need a shortcut? But I'm like, I'm happy it has one, don't get me wrong. And then they do shout out, hey, we're looking at Terminal C, which is the bus, the one right by the vault, the trucks. So that's the one they're doing next after that. But here's the new B. We don't see the terminal itself. I assume it probably goes here, which means these windows are gone. or there's a window there, so maybe some of the windows are gone. And of course we don't know where the actual new secret exit is. Maybe it's behind this thing, I don't know. Maybe it's like through this not painting. Who knows? But it does, if I'm gonna say one negative thing, it doesn't really fit the current vibe of Fragrant Shore, because it's very like yellow and bright, and this is kind of greeny brown. But I'm no artist, maybe that's exactly what they were going for, how this looks like different, or I don't know. But that's the only complaint, if I could even make one, I could have with this. All right, now let's get into balance. So before I get into balance stuff, normally when I say this, I usually like to talk about things that they did, and I'm happy with the things that they did. And usually I say let's not really talk about things that they didn't do, but because they only have so much time. But I think I might break that this time. At the end of this balance, we might talk about a couple things that they didn't do, because I kind of think it's time maybe. But let's talk about the stuff they did first. Let's start with Ace. They're in alphabetical, of course. The King of Diamond, the Weapon 3, the Big Gun, the charged body shot, and then a uncharged body shot is no longer a kill. Charged body shot's only gonna hit for 50, and then the normal body shot's only gonna hit for 40. So you're gonna do 50, 40 is 90. You hit them with a melee after that, you did 105. Usually you're good, or at least close to it. Throw it a second melee maybe. I think the intention here is good, while like the execution isn't great. Because while this is great that, hey, if an ace catches you out, you're not dead in 2 shots. If you're ace and you get caught out with this, you're not really charging the shot in worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you're charging the shot and hitting them for 50. Worst case, you're like flicking and shooting a 40 and then hoping you get to reload and you hit them for another 40. And then you got a melee for 15 and that's only 95 and you've died. So I don't really like this change. I like the intention of this change of, hey, the charge shot into like the body shot was strong, and I fully admit that it kind of was. But I'm not a huge fan of this number changing, because like 45 into melee was, you know, like kind of how you had to survive sometimes if you got caught out, and now it feels like that's way harder. But other things with Ace is like the King of Diamond got nerfed, and this is, again, we're gonna mention some stuff they didn't do. The Weapon 1, a lot of people, a lot of like Ace mains consider to be just better, but mostly they don't use it because it's like harder. I'm putting some words into some Ace mains' mouth, but I've heard from some Ace mains that like Weapon 1's kind of better, but like this one's more fun. So it's kind of weird this one got touched to me, but it is what it is. I like the intention, not sure the execution, at least on this part, was where I wanted to see it go. We've already spent way too long on Ace, but you know. Alright, Lotus Weapon 1's too versatile. We want to make it a reliable close range weapon, blah blah blah. We want to make it, you know, reliable close range weapon. Slowed it down just a little bit, and the damage fall off starts earlier, so you got to get a little closer. This is probably a good change. This weapon was pretty good with the auto fire now, which I think it's a good thing if they're like, hey, the auto fire made this weapon like too good, so we took some fire rate off, because that kind of just means that, hey, at max fire rate, it's too good, right? Like, so like I think this is a fine change. This weapon got really strong with the auto fire just because you could fire it at max fire rate, like everyone could, without, you know, without any, I don't want to say without skill, but like anyone could do it. You just turn the thing on, you hold the mouse button, your max fire rate. This weapon was really good for that bit, and you know they've made it, and they've changed its identity to be closer ranged. So there we go. All right, Madam, this change directly relates to the delay on the vault terminals. I want to first shout that out. So, not gonna lie, this kind of reads like the only reason we made this change is because we changed the vault terminals. Let's see what they did. So, Now, since again, let's review. Now, when you hack a vault terminal, no one knows for 15 seconds, right? So, with Madam Passive 3, if the Madam or her team disables the terminal, the Passive 3 ping goes off immediately. So there's no more 2-second delay in this case, and rivals are not notified in this case. So, because obviously that would tell someone the vault terminal was disabled, kind of defeats the point of the 15 seconds. I get it. I'm really not happy with it, but I get it. So, yeah, so use case 1, Madam or her teammates disables the terminal, that ping goes off instantly and no one knows. So there's no more 2-second delay in this case, and no one's alerted. So it's basically back to the like OG 2 patches ago, I think, a couple patches ago, Passive 3, where like it would just go off. But of course, it's only if Madam does it herself. So like that's good. So yeah, as I kind of said, I'm not super happy about this, but again, it's to do with the delay. I didn't click a button there. All right, my apologies. We're back. Yeah, and then the other, basically every other case, if someone else disables the terminal, oh my god, terminal, it will give the ping once everyone else gets the notification, so 15 seconds later. And according to what I've had to basically research /ask in the Discord, the 2 seconds delay still exists in that case. So the 15 seconds goes off, and then it does the usual record the location, 2 seconds later play back the location, as I'm calling it. So that I'm also not happy with, imagine that. But and then everything else, the phase 2 proc, the phase 3 proc, the car moving arriving proc is the same as it was before with the 2 seconds delay. No changes to those. But here's the thing with this one and why I'm not happy with it. After 15 seconds, the point of the vault delay is for you to leave the vault and no one know. So now you're out walking around and like, so then the Madam ping goes off. So if you're in the purple room as you were before this change, you're in the purple room, you do the vault terminal, the Madam ping goes off. Unless the Madam's in the room with you, which you should already know because it's a small purple room, it's fine, right? Like there's no issue. Like you would know if Madam's right there. She might be on the other side of the door, but like most of the time you got to be ready for that anyway, because you're like a guard leaving a purple room. You're already kind of sus, so you're already a little on edge. Like there we go. But in this case, you've got that 15-second window to leave, and then the Madam ping hits you. So you've basically exposed, like you've left your, I'll call it safe area. Obviously the purple room's not safe, but like, you know, you've left an area you know for sure Madam's not, to go to an area she might be, and then she's gonna know where you are. And this seems like a huge, I'm not gonna call it a huge buff, but I'm pretty sure it's a buff. Like I'm pretty upset about this change. I'm not gonna lie. Again, there's a couple reasons. One, I feel like they only changed it at all because of this new delay, which like I didn't want in the first place. This thing needs changed. And then what they did seems to have buffed it, which like I don't like again, because why did you buff it? So yeah, I'm pretty upset about this one. This ability is overpowered. I did a video like 2 days ago or so on it, yesterday even. I forget, days get blend together. And like the 2 seconds doesn't even matter. The only reason I could tell there was 2 seconds is because I had to pause and play back my own video to see if 2 seconds actually passed when the ping went off. It just doesn't matter. Like, this ability is dumb. Anyway, I'm gonna move on because I could spend a whole video on this ability and I don't want to. So, okay, deep breath. Octo changes. The weapon 2, it's do or die and lacking if you get caught off guard without a charge shot. That is exactly it. What did they do? Fire rate up, increase per shot down, increase, is this heat? Oh, increase fire rate, I'm assuming. So it increases slower, but starts at 3 instead of 2, 3 shots per second. I'm assuming that's what they're going for. I think they've missed a word here. You need more shots before it overheats. Time to reach max. Now we're getting words I don't understand. I guess time to reach max heat's lower, but it. Oh, because it's firing faster, right? I was like, how did this change? But this go down, but it's firing faster. And the top rate of fire is, oh yeah, 5 times the base versus 4 times the base of 3. Which, okay, so math weird. The max rate of fire is up to 12. And the overheat is a little earlier, but you get more shots, and it's overheat for less time. I like this change. Yeah, like, I like the, again, I haven't tested this change, so I don't really know what it's like. I like the idea of this change, of how they're like, yes, this sucks if you get caught off guard without a charge shot. But honestly, I would really like to see a, like, you could store intel in this gun and have a charge shot available type change. That might be overpowered, and obviously I haven't tested it because I can't, like, do that, but this feels like a weird solution to this problem. But maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe they don't want you to have a charge shot if you get caught off guard, but you need to be able to survive, so that's what they've gone with. Okay. Alright. The Sasori nerf we all hoped knew was coming, maybe. The Weapon 3. This line, I'm gonna be honest, I'm slightly still salty with the Madam thing, but this line's kind of meaning this, hey, it did more damage than we intended. Okay. But like it did, so anyway, so now it's gonna max out at 3 status effects instead of 4. Let's just look at the numbers. Projectile damage down. Not gonna lie, not a huge fan of that, because like anyway, now it's only 3 times, which is 18 per shot instead of a max of 28 per shot. So it's 10 damage less per shot if you have 3 debuffs, which poison, trace, and then slow from the sword. Yeah, like, okay, 18's kind of, we'll see. The answer is we'll see. I'm not a huge fan of this because if you don't have any debuffs, which sometimes you don't, like, although with the E1 changes you usually do now, I admit. But like, I would like to see this go up and this go down, if that makes sense. Make it a little better in base, so I'm not like 100% all in on some debuffs, but like, I get it, it's the debuff weapon, so maybe that's actually what they want. Maybe they want it this low and this high. So anyway, I'm glad it's not the way it was. Let's be honest, 28 damage per shot at 3 shots per second was kind of broken. We've seen it numerous ways on this channel, other places. Like, yeah, it was quite strong. This being down this low, we'll see. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I'm concerned about this a little bit, but with the E1 changes, you're often not without a debuff, so should be. Maybe it's fine. We shall see. Gadgets now. Enemy and allied shields look different. Okay. There we go. Bug fixes. I do want to call out one bug fix. Yes, I did actually read them this time. Actually, I guess 2. The lasers in the hard cell objective room no longer block projectiles, which is good because they were lasers. But like, that'll be not, that doesn't really come up very often, but like if you larcen through a gun, I guess, and it accidentally hit the laser instead of your target, now it should go through. I'm assuming there's still some like block in the middle, because obviously that's where the bull head is, but the lasers shouldn't be it, I guess. But the one I really wanted to shout out was this Octo auto fire. I think a lot of people ran into this. If you had the auto fire setting on, even if you weren't like using it by holding it, it kind of broke your weapon 1 ADS shot. Now it's fixed, so I wanted to call that one out specifically. Actually, there is one other one in the known issues section. The retinal scanner does have a bug in Teams where the visual thing doesn't update correctly until you interact with it. Wanted to shout that one out for people. There's a visual bug with the retinal scanner in Teams. So there we go. That's everything. This was like a 30-minute video. I think we got all my thoughts out, more or less. But super happy about a lot of the stuff they did. Sort of unhappy about some of the stuff they did. And we did talk a little bit about some of the stuff they didn't do, but not gonna get into that too much because we've already hit the 30-minute mark or so. So I think I'm gonna call the patch notes video there. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Do like the video if you did. Comment on your thoughts, of course. Back to school update should be interesting if nothing else. And I will see you all in the next one.